Please allow me to introduce our first speaker, Derrick Hastings. He's been farming in the Yukon in Hwech'in territory for the past 16 years. He has been the farm manager for 8 seasons and specializes in youth mentorship, livestock husbandry, egg production, and organic regenerative horticulture. He has been married for 19 years and has 4 children. And having experienced challenges both local and global, he has persevered and developed a resiliency that benefits him in the extremes of the northern environment. So, welcome, Derrick, and please take it away. We're excited to hear from you.
All right, thank you very much, Kyle. So yeah, I'm very grateful to speak on behalf of the Hwech'in First Nation. I have a great affection for the people of this territory and of this region. I started out in Dawson City as a person who just was traveling here to discover themselves, and I've fallen into the reality of agriculture. I always had an interest in agriculture. I grew up in southern Ontario, but I'm here to speak about the Hwech'in's vision and what we've accomplished at the TH Farm. So on the land, we learn to grow our food is sort of the motto in which we've styled our production value and the way we treat each other at the farm and the way we work towards long-term sustainability. So sustainability for us is multifaceted. It's not just about money or production numbers. It's mostly about the people. So if you want to move to the next slide, please. The land we grow on traditionally was part of their territory. So the Hwech'in people have existed here for tens of thousands of years. And after 1896 in the gold rush, this area became heavily populated. So the people had to adapt, and they were initially moved over to a village just north of their traditional village, which was now where Dawson City is located. So Dawson City is about 5 hours, 500 kilometers north of Whitehorse, Yukon. We're just an hour east of the U.S. border, and we're not considered quite Arctic, but yeah, we're on the cusp. So the land itself, where our market garden lies, is about 2.5 acres, and the land in which the farm encompasses is about 7 to 10 acres, considering the forested areas that are mixed into the farm site. So yeah, talking about the land. So the people here existed off of caribou and salmon and moose traditionally. And sadly, over the course of the last 100 years, the salmon have been depleted. The moose are becoming more and more sought after by the populations in the area and people who travel from Whitehorse, and caribou numbers are dwindling. So sadly, that is a result of climate change and a number of other issues related to, just degradation of the environment. But the people are resilient here, and as the pictures will show over the coming slides, we are dedicated to a reconnection value system, which is a philosophy that was addressed in a Yukon fellowship organization that was talking about adapting to climate change. So next slide, please. Yeah, we're jumping right to harvest time here because my wife has helped me with this slide and with this PowerPoint, pardon me. And I think the harvest is the greatest time of year for the farm because it shows the capabilities of the people. It shows the results of an embrace of the hopeful nature of our enterprise. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. We're on some of the best soil in the Yukon. People would probably think it's closer to Whitehorse, but our soils here far surpass it. We're on a floodplain, which has its benefits and has its negative aspects because we do flood periodically. And over the course of 8 years, I think we flooded 3 or 4 times. And the last one being a pretty detrimental flood 2 years ago in the spring. But our produce is grown without any chemicals, without any fertilizers. We use all of our manures, and that's a big part of the mandate that has been instilled in me from Hwech'in, is to keep our production in line with the stewardship values of the philosophy of the people. So we grow a number of brassicas. We grow potatoes and onions and herbs and flowers and many other crops. We do greenhousing, we do livestock, and we try and do a diverse product line, mostly to secure our production, because we have a number of issues every year, whether it's flooding or fire potential. We're also part of in a wildlife corridor, and that leads to sometimes detrimental impacts. We tend to live in relative harmony with the wildlife, even though we have grizzly and black bear and healthy population of lynx and foxes and many other creatures that like to interact with our livestock and our vegetables. We have moose that we've become quite acquainted with, that wait patiently until we're done harvest, and they move in and harvest the rest of the scraps and the greens that are remaining. So it's quite a nice fall time. Next slide, please. We have many people working at the farm. We've had up to 20 employees at the farm. They range in age from elderly to as young as 12, 13 years old, who start off more as part-time caretakers of the rabbits and, interacting with different areas of the farm. And then they move into more of a labor role, taking on some minor roles of weeding and thinning and watering and a number of other smaller roles. And then as they sort of graduate into their second and third year, they move into operating equipment and butchering, canning, and a number of other skills that we've developed programming around. We started as a pilot project initially for the first 2 years I was here. The 2 years previous was just a basic small garden, which people had planted potatoes and little experimental plots. And then when I came on, it was in the second year of a pilot project for a farm school. So the school ran, funded by Canor and INAC, for 2 years. It was fairly successful, but the price tag was incredibly high for the Hwech'in to absorb. So after that second year, where the funding ran out, it was sort of pivoted into more of a practical farm school. And I think the people that attend the farm's programming appreciate more of the practical approach, more than talking about what is organic, what is permaculture, what are all these words associated with what the actions are. I think there's a much greater connection to the understanding of agriculture, the understanding of the need to be present on the land, addressing the needs of the plants and the animals in a day-to-day work setting. So that's how we've operated for the last 6 years, and this is the results. You can see we grow beautiful crops, massive kohlrabis and beautiful Brussels sprouts and cabbages. We can probably grow the nicest cabbages. We have very little pestilence up here for now. We have seen changes because of climate change that has shown that some pests are becoming more present, but we generally have no pestilence in any of our cold crops. And because we're a cold climate and we have cool evenings and mornings and we have periodic frosts over the course of the summer, we generally stick to cold hardy crops, and that secures our foods for the distribution to the citizenry. Next slide, please. So on the right there is my coworker, John Robinson. He started when he was 12 years old at the farm school, and he took the farm school for 2 years, and he's worked with me for 8 years. He's just about 20. I think he's turning almost 21 soon. And now he's basically the farm supervisor. That's what his title is. But he's my right-hand man, and he's very invested in agriculture. He tends to be the first tier, and he wants to always be engaged in how to make it better, how to improve the systems in which we've applied, how to improve our infrastructure, how to incorporate the community and community well-being into a lot of our day-to-day operations, but also in the events in which we host at the farm. Next slide, please. So Norma's on the left, and Norma's been here also with me for 8 years. Norma's an elder. I believe she's turning 60 this year. She's more or less the farm manager. We greet each other in the mornings with, I always say hey to her, and she always says hey is for horses, and everybody always just laughs. And we just, every morning I'm just like rubbing my eyes, doing the safety meeting, and Norm always brings, a certain amount of reality to the start of the day where get your act together, Derrick, kicks me in the butt, and we get moving towards our operations, which were very efficient and effective as a group. And we've had long standing staff. Most of our staff has been here 3 or more years, but the average is probably around 6 years. So yeah, we're well adapted to each other's personalities, and we tend to grow with each other. And in my little spiel I gave there, I called it the teaching and learning farm, because initially it was the teaching and working farm, but I find we're teaching and we're learning from each other. And I think that's the benefit of the TH farm, is that it creates an environment where we're not afraid to experiment and to fail and to pick each other up and to support each other in all the aspects that we take on. And it has been very productive. Next slide, please. So yeah, we produce beautiful organic crops every year. We amend the soil. We tend to leave fallow sections of the garden, use cover cropping. Like I said, we just got a scaled manure spreader for our size, because the rest, the economics of agriculture are quite intense up here. Everything costs an arm and a leg to get shipped, and it's not getting any better, sadly. Next slide, please. So yeah, our distribution model is pretty unique. For a social enterprise, we're under the wellness program of the Hwech'in government. We initially started as an education and HR program, but we were switched over to the wellness program. And then in the near future, we're moving to the Community Development Corporation. So it's an evolving farm with a lot of challenges in regards to how that secures itself long term. But it's lasted into its 10th year, and it's well loved by the people. And this is a veggie box we distribute, and over COVID it became incredibly popular. And I'm sure in the next little while, when these tariffs kick in and our foods are even more expensive for the low quality vegetables we get into town, it'll become a hot seller. So yeah, we attend markets, we go to neighboring communities, Mayo being one of them, Mayo, Yukon. And we tend to distribute to the Toronto Hwech'in citizenry through Hampers, which is an education program. So we work together to distribute our food to 100 families 4 times a year. That's meat, eggs, vegetables. Next slide, please. We grow our own herbs and we process our own meats. There's a lot of bottlenecks up here. We don't have any infrastructure when it comes to agriculture. We just recently got a mobile abattoir stationed here, but usually it's stationed in Whitehorse, and it would come up for about a week a year where we'd have to do all of our pigs at once. So then we'd have to butcher them all ourselves, smoke it, process it, whatever we have to do in a very small window. But we grow a lot of our herbs for doing the value-added chicken, the value-added pork, and seasonings. We also grow calendula and different flowers like chamomile for medicines, and for a local soap company that's run by an Indigenous woman, Joella. It's Yukon Soap Company, I believe is the name of it. But we try to interact with a number of different regional distribution hubs, and try to get our food and products out there to as many people as possible. Next slide, please. So yeah, growing more than food. So this has been sort of our motto, and our what we're driving towards is the youth. And when I said I'm into youth mentorship, I'm not so much telling youth how to live. It's just talking about the potentials, and helping them work towards their own goals and their own dreams. And we've had perhaps over 100 youth work at the farm over the course of the 8 years. And we generally have 10 to 12 every season, some returning, some are new. And they work in a number of different areas of the farm: horticulture, greenhousing, gardening, livestock management, butchering, chicken processing, canning, all manner of aspects of the food system. But we also have conversations about the individual's futures, helping them obtain licenses, helping them obtain any courses, helping them get apprenticeships after their work at the farm. It's helping people grow into their future, and it's a great method of prevention for a lot of the issues that are present in our community. As a result of it being a gold mining town, there's, just for perspective, there's a casino right in the middle of the town across from the school. There's about 7 bars, all located within a kilometer of each other, and the gold rush is romanticized and celebrated in our tourism industry. And so the farm being 10 minutes out of town, and on Hwech'in property or land, it has a zero tolerance for alcohol and drugs, and people respect that, and it's a good reprieve for people in their their challenging years, the puberty times, between 15 and 20 years old. It gives people a sense of community outside of Dawson, where they get to work together and get to embrace, livestock management and care. And next slide, please. Yeah, so we raise our own pigs. We breed our own pigs. We have a great genetic line going, Berkshire, Tamworth, and Berkshire, Derrick, pardon me. And they're very hardy to our area. We've moved into goats now because the large population of East Indian people have moved into town, taken a lot of the roles in the service industry and tourism industry. So we're working with different communities to address food needs, and that creates a very secure food system because it's in high demand, and we utilize a lot of the fat from the pork for all manner of cooking and sausage making. Next slide, please. Yeah, youth. Kavan here on the right went into cooking after the farm, and we've supported him. And he was a great worker while he worked here, and he's moved on to be a very successful individual. The young men in below are just graduating this year, and a couple guys above are our maintenance workers in the summer months. And we do small engine repair because we have to rely on our own skill sets to maintain all of our own equipment, our own buildings. We build our buildings. Next slide, please. So as a group, I'm very proud of our accomplishments, and everybody is proud of what Hwech'in has invested in as well. And the young men and the young women that have worked here, you can see, in how they've been successful after the farm, have got a good ground, a good foundation for their future, and it gives them a sense of hope and purpose. And quite a few of our youth are very political, and it gives them an outlet to address that proactively as opposed to reactively. And I put in my little blurb there about rebellion, and it's a peaceful rebellion. And because a lot of people are angry as the result of the outcomes of residential school and the outcomes of situations that plague their community particularly. And this farm is very is a place of pride, and it's a place of just ambition. So next slide, please. You can see it in the faces of the individuals when they're selling at the market, like the fellow in the top right. He arrived from Toronto. He hadn't been to Dawson before. He's a Hwech'in citizen. And when he got here, he was very shy and timid. And by the time he was complete with his work at the farm, he was looking for roles within the Toronto government as a steward on the land, in the lands department, and he's done a number of different things, as you'll see in the slides. We get grants from the CDF, Community Development Fund in the Yukon, to build more greenhousing because we need it for our cold crops, tomatoes and cucumbers and whatnot. We've raised mushrooms. We are moving into beekeeping. We process all our own chickens on site. We do a lot of this, the stuff that you would normally in other regions probably just pawn off on other industries. But yeah, we've taken on the whole chain of custody. Next slide, please. Yeah, redefining education for us meant addressing some of the students' needs that were not flourishing at the local school. So we gave them an opportunity to work at the farm during the winter to gain credits that went towards their education. And that was a pilot project, and it was quite successful. We had some of the youth stay on and continue to work, and it just gave people an opportunity who were not invested in the school system as it stands to try different things, to gain work experience, but also some educational credits at the farm. Next slide, please. The elders are very supportive of the farm, and we have a number of community events every year, from harvest fairs, spring fairs, health fairs. We have haunted barns, and at Christmas time we have a number of different events. We had, over COVID, we had a Christmas market because of the social distancing. We sort of skirted the rules. Anyways, next slide. So yeah, we have school groups that come out, and it's very popular to hang out with the rabbits. We find it's very good for kids on the spectrum to be able to sit and have empathy for a small creature, and we find it's embracing. Yeah, so we have that, and we have them interacting with the chickens. We definitely grow some big chickens. Sometimes we free range them, but not so much anymore. Just because we built some nice pasture pens, which we'll see in the future. Okay, next slide, please. Growing community. This is an event we host every year, whereas we give out pumpkins. Sadly, we can't grow enough pumpkins to give away on our site, but we give away pumpkins, and we get people. We have photo booths, and we have people around the fire. We do pig roasts, and it's a very popular time of year just to get families out on the land. And just generally, when people are at the farm, they're very happy. It's time to spend. It's good to spend time with the kids. We have families come out and harvest berries. We have families come out and pick up vegetable boxes, and they interact with the animals. And it's just a healthy environment for youth. As you know, it's a digital world, and this is very much analog. So, next slide, please. Yeah, so this is our haunted barn. That was a picture of the crew that put it on. We basically took our Quonset hut and made it into a very, very impressive haunted house, utilizing some of the different farm products that I won't go into details, but we try to make it as fun and enjoyable, and we put a lot of energy into these events, and it creates a lot of love for the farm outside of our production value. It creates a space for people to embrace the potentiality of just a farm being a community resource and invested. And the elders' initial vision for the farm was to have a resource for food security, for the people's health, and for just generally for the well-being of their community long term. And so when I see the youth investing their time and their energy, especially John, and I have another fellow, Zach, who works with me day to day, I think he's running the tractor there. It might be my buddy Carl, but the next slide, please. Yeah, we have Zach running our equipment. This is our Christmas market. It was very successful. We had them for 3 different years. One was minus 45, which was hard to keep people warm, but people came out. It was very successful. Each tent had a vendor in it selling their local made goods, and it was one of the only outlets that for those years during COVID. I think it was 2 or 3 years we did it. I think the 3rd year COVID was just about working through its social distancing stuff. But yeah, we kept going through COVID. The farm's resources became very sought after. We were selling soils and manures and vegetables and starters and every manner of thing. We created a place for people to be, which was probably breaking the law, but we had the police there and we had the premier, so we thought, we'll carry on. Yeah, I think that night was 45 below up top, and people braved the cold, and it was probably the highlight of my career at Dawson career at Hwech'in Farm, is during that time, people were very isolated. It was a very tough time in the north. There was a lot of debate about how severe or how many vaccinations, and all of these things, these discussions that were going on that were dividing people. So it brought people together. It provided an outlet. It provided local vendors a space to sell their goods, and it created a lot of joy. So carry on. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the four-season greenhouse we were funded for in 2019 by the Arctic Inspiration Prize. We're in the process of building it. Sadly, during COVID, we received the funding just at the start of COVID. So the price tag went from 1 million to 2.3 million. So we're in the process of the second phase. We've got it completely, the outer shell completed. So, oh yeah, we're wrapping up. So next slide, please. Our chicken grading station we built. That was the farm who built that. We got the regulatory paperwork done for the feds, and we sell about 5,000 eggs a year. Next slide, please. Yeah, that's our next slide, please. Next slide, please. And the elders have been are driving sort of visionaries, and those four elders have passed away, and they're huge supporters of the farm. So we wanted to honor the elders. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is something I want to talk about. We've labeled our egg business, our micro enterprise within the social enterprise, Hwech'in, which is bird eggs from the land. And I'm very proud of the fact that we have these in all the stores and restaurants who sell to a lot of vendors in town, and it's in the Han language, which is sadly just being rejuvenated. Next slide, please. We do butchering courses, which is also very important to teach people how to process the game, and we work with the other departments to process wild game as well. Next slide, please. These are our pasture pens we just built to keep our chickens safe, and it was a design we work with a local welder to create this model that's perfect for our site. And next slide, please. Next slide, please. I just wanted to talk about Jimmy Johnny. He just recently passed. When I first moved to the Yukon, I lived in just outside of Mayo at 17 Mile, and Jimmy Johnny picked us up when my wife and I were hitchhiking. And this man was a trapper, an outfitter. He was on the land all the time, and he was a great supporter of the farm and of protecting the land. And I just want to honor him. So that's what I have to say for the Chandakuchi Farm Masicho. Thank you very much.
Hey, Masicho, Derrick, thank you so much for giving us this really wonderful overview. And I saw you skipped over a lot of really interesting slides, so we're going to come back and we're going to talk about those. I even saw some quail eggs, I thought. So I saw this is very cool.
All right.
So thanks again, Derrick.